Hello and welcome to my dungeon. Today I'm going to show you how to create a character for the Dragonbane RPG. I'm going to create a magic user, a healer to be exact, because I think that's missing from the pre-generated characters, and a magic user is the most complicated class to create as you have to choose spells. It's not much more complicated than the other classes, but a bit. If this and other Dragonbane tutorials interests you, like and subscribe, and let's get started. First, we have to choose or roll on this table for our kin. I have no idea, so I roll. I get a 10, which gives me an elf. Let's begin writing this down. Name, Seba, kin, elf. As an elf, we get the ability Inner Peace, which lets us recover twice as much as other kin during a stretch rest, and that is most welcome for a mage. Write that down on your character sheet under Abilities and Spells. While we are here, there's a table to roll on for our name. D6 table 1 gives us the name Aracene. Write that down in the top middle of your character sheet. Write it more to the left. Leave a little bit more room than I do here. I have to correct that later. Next, we roll on this table or choose our profession. We are going to create a mage. From our profession we get a key attribute, which only means that this is the most important attribute for this profession. We also get a number of trained starting skills. For the mage, it depends on the school of magic you're going to learn. We're going to create a healer, so we are choosing Animist. This gets us the trained skill Animism, which we are going to write down under secondary skills, and a number of other trained skills, which I'm just going to check on the skill list. Now would be a good time to write down your starting heroic ability, but since we are a mage, we don't get that. Instead, we get 6 spells, 3 magic tricks and 3 rank 1 spells. We have chosen the Animism School of Magic, so we can choose from these magic tricks, but the only one I find useful are clean and cook food. And for healer, it's actually crucial to be able to clean a room, so you have a clean environment to treat wounds, so I'm picking that. But we can also choose magic tricks and spells from general magic. And here I find spells that I think are more useful than the ones from Animism. From here I pick the Light spell, because I think that might come in handy, and the Sense magic spell, because I think that is something that a mage must be able to do. Write all of these down under Abilities and Spells. I write them down at the bottom here, so it's easier to tell abilities and spells apart later on. For our first level spells, let's again look at Animism, and the Treat Wound spell will be the most important for a healer, such as we are creating. For the second spell, I choose Ensnaring Roots, which gives us some control and some utility in combat. Lightning Flash might be a better choice, but I wanted to stick to the theme of the healer, and Ensnaring Roots maybe lets us avoid combat, but we can always learn more spells during the game. For our final spell, I return to general magic and choose the Protector spell, as that lets us protect others from magical influences, maybe secure our campsite or help a cursed victim that is influenced from a nightmare, or something. Just thought that would fit really well within the theme of the healer. And while you've got the profession page open, you can roll or choose one of 3 sets of starting equipment. I'm choosing the first one as that gives me a staff, which I think is appropriate for a druid type of character. And I write that down under weapons and the rest under inventory. Normally 1 item takes 1 slot in your inventory, but if you are unsure how many slots, for example, 1d6 rations take, look it up in the equipment charts in the equipment chapter, and we are in luck. 1 ration is 1/4 of an inventory slot, so 4 rations exactly fit in 1 inventory slot. The last item in this starting gear is D8 silver, which gives us 5, which we can write down in the dedicated field on the left. Under profession, there's also 1 last table you can roll on or choose a nickname. We choose the nickname Rootheart, which I tried to write in the name field where I didn't leave enough space for it. I'll have to amend that later. As I said, characters that are not mages get 1 starting heroic ability. Get 1 from your profession, but you can ask your GM to pick 1 yourself, and I would encourage you to do so, so get a heroic ability that fits your character and your build. Next up, we can roll or choose on the age table. We get a 5, which gets us an adult. We get 4 additional skills that we are trained in that we can pick, and no modification to our abilities. So let's pick 4 more skills. I take the sling skill, so I have a reliable ranged weapon and don't have to get close with the healer. Awareness, as it's useful not to get ambushed, and since healing is an intelligence-based skill, I'm planning to pick a high attribute score for intelligence. So I also pick myth and legends once again in intelligence skill. And finally, languages. So this character is not only the healer of the party, but also the scholar. And now it's time to roll attributes. The standard method is to roll 4d6, drop the lowest, and assign to an attribute. After you've rolled all of your attributes, you can exchange 2 of them. 10 is so, and I hope this will be our lowest score, so I assign it to strength. This is an A team. I'll be damned, that's super good. This will become our most important attribute, so it's going into willpower. Come on. This is not so good. Just an 8. Let's put that into charisma for now. We don't really need that. Come on. This roll gives me a 13, which is not bad. Let's put it into Constitution for now. Lady Luck. Another high roll. 16, or second highest most likely, so this goes into intelligence. And our final roll gives us a 12, which goes into the last stat, which is agility. Now I can change 2 stats around. I decide to exchange strength and charisma, as I really don't think I'll be needing strength but a wise choice might have been to exchange Constitution and Agility, because with 13 you get 1 more point in your agility-based skills and you get an agility damage bonus, which we don't get with the 12 that I'll be leaving there. With the attributes settled, it's time to get our derivated ratings. One of them is movement, which depends on your kin, and your agility. We are an elf and we have an agility of 12, so we get 10. Once again, had I chosen the 13, we would have gotten a +2. You get your damage bonus for strength and agility, and at 13 we would have gotten +1d4 on agility, so you get none. Finally, we put in our willpower points, which is our willpower ability score, and our hit points, which are our constitution score. Totally didn't forget that at this point and did it much later in character creation. I'm a professional after all. Another derivate stat, which is not listed here, is your inventory space, your encumbrance, which is half your strength score. So for others in here, that is just 4, which is not much. Now it's time to put in our starting skills using this table. Trained skills get twice the base value. This is a bit of a chore, but it goes faster once you memorize the starting scores for your different abilities. And you can look them up in the skills you've already put in there. With the starting skills assigned, you can erase all of the check marks we made here to know which are the profession starting skills and which we picked. These check marks are used for advancement rolls during the game. Next on, we roll on the table for weaknesses and we get a 16, which is boastful. While I'm up here, let's put our profession as mage and our age as young. And we can roll a d20 on the memento table, which gives us a set of bone dice. Almost done. Using your starting coin, you can buy additional equipment, and I'm going to buy a sling for 1 silver coin, so we have got a ranged weapon with endless ammo at hand. And now we can also fill in the stats for our sling and staff, and also armor and helmet if you happen to get some or buy some. For others in here, I also put the orboculum under weapons and shields. This is a spell casting catalyst, which I think is smaller than most weapons, but these 3 weapon and shield slots are free. They don't count towards your encumbrance. And we've got an encumbrance limit of 4, but we've got 5 items in there. So I think it's okay to do this, though technically the orboculum is not a weapon. It's a free inventory slot and we would be a fool not to use it. But you should consult your GM for rule interpretations such as this. We also don't carry any armor and helmet, which are also free inventory slots. Another item you might want to pick up at this point are bandages, but Ariandel here just didn't have the coin, so that would be the first item you get in-game once you get the coinage. And the bandages would also go under weapons and shield, because the sling is a tiny item and doesn't count towards encumbrance. I know I'm rules bending here a little bit. What it comes down to is that Ariandel will have to rely on the other characters in the party to carry his stuff around. Really, I should have kept that 10 in strength, 8 in charisma, and instead changed constitution and agility around. That would have been much better. Anyway, that finishes this character creation and gives us this character, Artisan Rootheart. A competent healer and scholar, strong in mind but weak in body. not a close combatant by any means, but you can do ranged support with entangling roots and your sling and keep the party alive with light and treat wounds, and in return the party will have to carry a bit of your stuff around. I hope you liked this video. Safe travels, dreamers, until we shall meet again.